What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
I'm getting on across. Hold on. Here. Yeah, hold on.
All right. Congrats, Rachel.
Hey, Rach. Yes? Those shoes. Dogs out of LAX.
The world of show business loves nothing more than an overnight sensation. A star who appears to soar from obscurity to fame in the blink of an eye. That's precisely what seemed to happen with one promising performer who, not too long ago, was being hailed as the voice of a new generation. Her arrival felt like the perfect fairy tale setup, a dazzling debut that impressed both veteran insiders and everyday fans, followed by an unprecedented casting in a reimagined version of a beloved children's classic. Yet fairy tales can twist into something unrecognizable when real-world drama, controversy, and cutthroat corporate interests converge. In a matter of months, this rising star transformed from a cherished newbie in Hollywood to one of its most polarizing figures. Her every interview has become a magnet for backlash. Her social media presence, once a source of playful interaction, now teeters between silence and scandal. Unfounded rumors spiraled into tangible evidence of upheaval, a meltdown so severe that even her home studio began to ponder the unthinkable, severing ties with the actress it once touted as the face of a major billion-dollar project. What triggered this unprecedented reversal? How did a promising newcomer wind up on the verge of Hollywood exile? Each detail reveals a deeper layer of intrigue, exposing a tangled web of conflicting loyalties, legal speculation, and bitter fan debates. No matter where you stand, whether you think she's a cautionary tale about unchecked hubris or a victim of merciless cancel culture, one fact is certain: the past year has seen her name skyrocket from minor headlines to near total dominance of social media and online chatter. But the deeper you dig, the more you find that the story refuses to stay in neat lines. This isn't just a tale of one actress. It's a sign of how quickly the tides of public favor can turn, how vicious the internet can become, and how monumental entertainment titans sometimes scramble behind the scenes when they see a massive box office gamble going south. Each chapter you're about to hear unveils a new side to this unfolding drama, untangling whispers of in-house disputes, fan-led boycotts, hush legal wranglings, and a spur-of-the-moment relocation that everyone's still buzzing about. Brace yourself. This narrative moves quickly. Just when you think you know exactly where it's going, another revelation turns everything on its head. Long before the controversy, our central figure seemed like Hollywood's golden child. She had all the right ingredients: a powerhouse singing voice, an endearing stage presence, and a backstory that made fans feel they were watching a genuine dream come true. After a breakout performance in a major motion picture, critics praised her ability to breathe new life into a role many thought untouchable. Social media crowned her an it girl overnight. On top of that, every red carpet event and late-night interview only heightened the sense that she was the next unstoppable superstar. Industry analysts whispered that she embodied a modern fairy tale success, discovered for one high-stakes role, immediately launched into the big leagues, and rumored to have a string of high-profile projects lined up. At first, the hype was unstoppable. Her face was plastered on magazine covers, her voice echoed at award shows, and whenever she hopped on Instagram, her followers multiplied in a flash. She radiated that special blend of humility and ambition that tends to captivate fans. Then came the official announcement that she had been cast as the lead in the live-action reboot of a legendary cartoon classic. Suddenly, this young talent wasn't just a bright new star. She was at the center of a reimagined fairy tale that had enthralled generations. Fans initially rejoiced, predicting a fresh perspective, and maybe even a revival of the wide-eyed wonder the older generation had felt with the original. Looking back, those days of unbridled enthusiasm seem almost surreal, considering the storm that would follow. But excitement can fade fast when underlying tensions begin to surface. Every fairy tale has its challenges, and as we're about to discover, the roads to happily ever after are rarely straight and smooth. Even before the cameras rolled, the honeymoon period started to crack. In a round of press interviews, the actress made remarks about the 1930s classic that came across as unexpectedly dismissive. She referred to the story's original elements as outdated, touched on its portrayal of romance in a way that ruffled feathers, and hinted she'd be taking the character in a radically different direction. At first, some supporters admired her boldness. After all, times have changed, and modern audiences often expect strong, multifaceted characters. However, That initial admiration lasted about as long as a single social media cycle. Entire threads on Reddit and Twitter flared up, blasting her words as condescending to a piece of cherished cinematic heritage. She's insulting a foundational film, some fans claimed, while others insisted, no, she's championing progress, and that's what we need. Yet it wasn't simply a matter of interpretation. Her tone struck many as irreverent at best, arrogant at worst. Memes flew around, mocking her perceived disdain for the story that paved the way for the very role she'd been lucky enough to land. Mainstream entertainment sites began publishing hot takes, and the temperature of the discourse soared. Had she left it at that, just one or two quick comments, perhaps things would have cooled. But she doubled down, repeating her critiques in subsequent interviews. The more she spoke, the deeper she seemed to dig herself into an argumentative corner. What was originally pinned as a fresh, modern approach now sounded like a pointed rejection of everything that made the classic film beloved in the first place. Viewers started side-eyeing the entire production, many wondering if the adaptation would demolish the heart of the story they'd grown up with. Still, that was just the initial spark. What followed took everyone by surprise, reshaping not only the trajectory of this adaptation, but also the entire conversation around the actress herself. Social media backlash can escalate faster than anyone anticipates, and this instance was no exception. Fan pages that previously cheered her on suddenly found themselves fielding waves of irate messages. Comment sections ignited with fierce debates. Hashtags calling for boycotts trended, weaving into the ongoing narrative about how modern reboots ruin the classics. Behind the scenes, whispers surfaced that Disney executives were in a state of alarm. The original plan was for a high-profile promotional blitz. Instead of building excitement and goodwill, however, the actress's quotes had set off an entirely new wave of controversy, where executives envisioned a graceful pass of the torch. From the old classic to the new, they now faced a PR meltdown. Unsure of how to curb the hostility swirling around them, insiders say the studio tried to strategize damage control. Some proposed carefully orchestrated interviews to clarify her remarks, but others recognized a bigger problem. Once a star's public image takes a negative turn, press tours often turn into feeding frenzies, not redemption arcs. As the tides of public opinion turned hostile, the situation worsened. Aggregators compiled every quote that could be deemed insulting to longtime Disney loyalists, and these snippets spread in a relentless loop across Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Reaction channels capitalized on the uproar, amassing thousands of views by dissecting each new comment. Even casual viewers, people who normally wouldn't pay attention to Hollywood drama, began forming opinions based on the short, viral clips. And yet, amid all this uproar, one question kept surfacing: where is she now? Because just as quickly as the controversy spiked, she seemed to vanish into thin air. The tension was on a swift and dangerous upswing, but the actress's public presence cooled to near zero. The swirl of speculation only deepened the sense that something monumental was happening behind the curtain. Yet Disney's worry was nothing compared to the spectacle still unfolding in plain sight, something that would make fans rethink everything they thought they knew. For weeks, the actress was absent from events and silent on social media. Gone were the once frequent Instagram posts capturing bits of her daily life or creative process. Fans who'd tracked her every move now scrolled through her profile in confusion, noticing missing posts and locked comment sections. That's when the theories started to spread like wildfire. Some said the studio had forced her into hiding, instructing her to lie low until the intense backlash subsided. Others believed she was in crisis mode, struggling with the magnitude of negativity directed her way. More conspiratorial corners of the internet suggested a planned retreat for an impending rebranding campaign. If she vanished long enough, maybe the outrage would quiet down and she could reemerge under more favorable conditions. Meanwhile, entertainment insiders dropped hints that the atmosphere on set and in the studio boardrooms had grown tense. Public controversies of this magnitude don't simply touch the star. They ripple out, affecting entire production teams, marketing strategies, and even merchandise launches. The rumored freeze in communication extended beyond the actress's social media. Some longtime collaborators hinted that they couldn't reach her by phone or text. She had, in effect, shut everyone out. But she wasn't gone for long. Her next move would make everyone question everything they thought they understood about her motives. It happened in a place as unexpected as the twist itself, sending shockwaves that led to a brand new round of speculations and debates. When word leaked that the actress appeared in Dubai, of all places, fans and critics alike were left rattled. In a bustling luxury district, she was seen casually handing out branded merchandise, plush dolls, t-shirts, enamel pins, items presumably tied to her fairy tale project. Witnesses described the scene as surreal, a slice of Hollywood dropping into a faraway locale with no prior publicity. Photos began circulating on social media, capturing her smiling with local families and tourists. But it was her comments, reportedly made to a local journalist, that sparked a fresh uproar back home. She praised the open-mindedness and warmth of Middle Eastern fans, pointing out how different the vibe felt compared to the negativity she claimed to endure in the US. Then came the line that ruffled countless feathers. "And if you disagree with the sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks." This declaration spread like wildfire across Twitter, TikTok, and online forums. On one side, supporters argued she had every right to distance herself from relentless trolls and cynics. On the other, critics claimed she'd cast aside the audience that had elevated her career, writing off valid critiques as mere negativity. Some labeled her arrogant, others championed her bold stance as necessary self-preservation. Regardless of interpretation, she was once again at the center of a firestorm, and the friction between her international appearances and her strained relationship with fans back home only magnified. That wasn't the only twist. The real plot thickened once whispers of a legal battle began spreading. Because at the heart of the entire Dubai incident lay a nagging question: was this a personal endeavor or an orchestrated PR stunt meant to salvage a fracturing relationship with worldwide markets? No matter the answer, one reality was clear. The actress had just shifted from missing to making headlines all over again. While the actress was handing out Disney merch in Dubai, rumors swirled that lawyers stateside were busy combing through every word she'd uttered. If the swirl of insider leaks was to be believed, Disney's legal team was evaluating whether her public statements violated contractual stipulations. Especially prominent in these discussions, according to reports, were the so-called morality clauses that appear in many major studio contracts. These clauses can be intentionally vague, giving the studio a lot of leeway to interpret what behavior or speech might inflict harm on the brand. Critics have labeled them legal landmines, while studios defend them as essential protections when hundreds of millions of dollars are on the line. In this case, the rising suspicion was that the actress's repeated critiques of the iconic fairy tale, along with her polarizing stance against a large chunk of the US fan base, might have crossed the threshold of acceptable conduct. Industry pundits pointed out that Disney, perhaps more than any other major film outfit, is known for carefully cultivating its brand identity. Mainstream family appeal is paramount. Massive controversies do them no favors. Thus, the question wasn't merely if she had offended fans, but whether she had inflicted material damage on a project meant to rake in global box office receipts. Had her commentary scared off legions of potential ticket buyers? Had her words, replayed by countless reaction channels, sowed doubt in the hearts of Disney's core audience? And if the answer was yes, did the studio have the grounds to take drastic legal steps? But all that tension boiled over when an apology surfaced, one that raised more suspicions than it resolved, and hinted that bigger forces were already in play behind closed doors. Out of nowhere, a lengthy apology appeared on the actress's social media. It was concise, clinical, and free from any of her usual sparkle or personal flair. She expressed regret if her remarks came off as dismissive to longtime fans, claimed she was misunderstood, and affirmed her admiration for the original film. Yet the net reaction was not relief or closure, but a fresh wave of questions. Why? Did the statement read like a press release stripped of emotion? Why did it arrive at this particular moment, right when talk of legal ramifications hit a fever pitch? Fans who once cherished her candidness felt the apology was forced or ghostwritten by corporate lawyers. Some body language experts even took to YouTube, analyzing the wording as though it were a piece of evidence in a courtroom drama. Meanwhile, others found it suspiciously timed, suspecting the actress had been cornered into compliance. Almost immediately, the conversation on social media shifted again. Instead of the old "she's arrogant" debate, you now had equally heated arguments. "She's being muzzled," or "she should have apologized a lot sooner, and this is too little too late," or "she's only sorry because a multi-billion-dollar giant is leaning on her." This whirlwind of interpretations was so chaotic that it drowned out the apology's actual content. In many ways, it ignited even more anger than her earlier interviews. Fans who hoped the statement might mark a turning point walked away feeling even more disillusioned. Haters felt validated, convinced they were right all along that her persona was carefully curated. And in the background, Disney's crisis managers likely breathed a sigh of exhaustion, realizing they were no closer to dousing the flames. Still, this wasn't the end. Her path took another dramatic turn when silence became her new strategy. Because, in the wake of that apology, the actress effectively vanished again, leaving behind a swirl of rumors and a colossal question mark about the future of her career. After her publicly scrutinized apology, the actress's online presence vanished once more, this time more decisively. Posts went missing, comments were locked, and updates ceased altogether. Insiders claim that even her close friends struggled to reach her. To many, it looked like the final act, a star hammered by controversy, battered by legal scrutiny, and possibly told by corporate higher-ups to disappear until further notice. Fans and casual observers alike began floating new explanations. Some suggested a full-blown meltdown. Perhaps she was overwhelmed to the point of retreating for her own mental health. Others saw a carefully choreographed strategy, suspecting she was rebranding in secret. In the high-stakes world of Hollywood, a rebrand can involve a total shift in personal style, narrative, even philanthropic causes to realign with public sentiment. Meanwhile, Disney found itself under a harsh spotlight. With each new leak or rumor, the Snow White project looked less like a whimsical dream and more like a nightmare the studio couldn't wake up from. Slumping internal projections, spooked investors, and an angry fan base made for an ugly trifecta. Add to that the chatter about possible lawsuits or contractual disputes, and you get an environment so volatile that many began to wonder if Disney might quietly shelve or drastically revise the film. All these swirling developments created a situation where no one, not even the actress's staunchest defenders, knew how to respond. Every attempt to clarify seemed to pour more gasoline on the fire. It's as though each rumor bred three more, each hot take went viral, and each platform seemed to amplify the negativity. The truth behind these headlines remains elusive. Is she truly being punished by corporate forces? Did she sabotage her own prospects by insulting a legendary franchise? Or is the internet's outrage machine so unrelenting that she felt no choice but to vanish? We're left at the crossroads, where redemption arcs, legal fights, or total ruin all remain possible outcomes. The actress's silence might end tomorrow, or it could last for years. And one thing is for sure, the rest of this story hasn't been written yet. At first glance, this roller coaster might look like a cautionary tale about reckless commentary and the perils of internet backlash. Delve deeper, and it's equally about massive studio politics, the fragility of public favor, and the complicated line between creative reinterpretation and disrespecting a beloved classic. In a matter of months, a rising star, once seen as an unstoppable force, became the center of a controversy so thick it might forever overshadow her breakout achievements. Is she a misunderstood artist unfairly hounded by toxic fans? Or is she an overconfident performer who alienated the very audience she needed the most? Perhaps the reality sits somewhere in the middle, with each factor fueling the next in a vicious loop. Either way, her sudden rise and meteoric fall illustrate the razor-thin margin between adulation and outrage in today's hyper-connected world. As she lingers in silence, whether it's a strategic choice or a genuine escape from crippling stress, one question looms. Will she make a triumphant comeback, or is this the closing chapter in a once promising Hollywood saga? Let us know your thoughts and theories. Are we watching a star being unfairly cast aside, or someone facing rightful consequences for her own words? However this story resolves, it's a stark reminder that in the current media climate, fortunes can change in an instant. The only guarantee is that the conversation doesn't end here. Hollywood's rumor mill is humming like never before, and the as always, are still rolling. So stay tuned, keep your eyes open, and get ready, because this modern fairy tale is far from over, and the next plot twist could drop any day now. All details herein are based on publicly available rumors, reports, and third-party accounts. No direct accusations are being made, and all individuals are presumed to be acting in good faith unless proven otherwise. Please remember, every story has multiple layers, and only time and more revelations will shed full light on the truth. If you're as captivated by these unfolding events as we are, hit that subscribe button and enable notifications. We'll be here with all the fresh updates, insider whispers, and behind-the-scenes insights that might change everything you think. Stay curious, stay sharp, and never forget, in the world of show business, reality can be stranger than any script, and this tale isn't finished yet.